Now and started recording. Welcome everyone to the 2020 APAC Groundbreakers virtual tour by APAC OEC. This year, our event would be the biggest one ever done with 174 sessions with normal sessions, workshops, and hands-on labs from 123 different speakers over 11 days. Also, it would cover sessions on 4 different languages. Please remember to register as many sessions as you can, and all sessions would be available to replay as many times you want 2 weeks after the initial session's date and time. You can also interact with speakers at any time during 2 weeks by posting questions or comments directly into the playback session page. Moving ahead, and these are our sponsors. So I would like to say thanks to all Oracle user groups, Java user groups that made this event possible, and also to our sponsors, Oracle Groundbreakers and CloudDB. And for today's session, we have Edelweiss Kammermann presenting Oracle Analytics Server, the evolution of OBIEE. And thanks to her. And then please feel free to write questions to at any time during the session at the Q&A tab of the Zoom webinar. I will post out the questions, or we will take the questions at last of the session. Please feel free to contact me at any time of the chat tab in the Zoom webinar. Now, without more any delays, I would like to thank you, Adel, once more time. And I would like to leave with you an amazing session. I'm stop sharing. Adel, up to you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for the invitation, and thank you so much for having me here. So let me share my screen so we can start with the presentation.
You can see your screen. All
yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, welcome everybody. We're going to talk about Oracle Analytics Server and why is the evolution of OBIEE. Okay. So this is the agenda for today. Before starting, I want to tell you a little about the company that I'm working for. The name is IT Conversions. It's a global company which has more than 20 years of experience in different areas. We are hosting our clients. We are offering EBS support and development, as well as SOA, as well as analytics, database support and development of projects. So, and everything right now for Oracle Cloud. So we are Oracle Platinum Partner, and we have offices in different parts of the world, in Latin America, in US, in India too. So this is the range of the expertise across the globe. We have, despite we have offices in some parts of the globe, we have a lot of people, including me, working remote from home. Well, right now it's like everybody, you know, but it was before that, before this year. Okay, so my name is Edelweiss Kammermann. It's quite complicated, so everybody call me Edel. It's easier. I am working with Oracle Technologies for more than 20 years. I'm a computer engineer or software engineer, as you can see it in say in US. I have my expertise is in analytics, data integration, machine learning. I have been involved in the Oracle community for a long time. I'm the co-founder and vice president of Uruguayan Oracle User Group. I'm from Uruguay, and I'm part of the board of the Latin America Oracle User Community, as well as the Analytic and Data Oracle User Community. I'm AC Director in Analytics, and well, that's it. That's it about me. And if you're wondering where in the world is Uruguay, is there between Argentina and Brazil. This is Montevideo, the capital. I live in Montevideo. In fact, the background that you can see now in my Zoom is in front of my home. Not now because it's 11 p.m., but during the day. This is the main square. And this thing, like it looks like a mothership, is our airport. Okay, if you're not familiar with the Oracle ACE program, this is a slide that I want to share with you. Oracle has a couple of programs to recognize people that collaborate in the community. One is the ACE program, and the other one is the Groundbreakers. Groundbreakers is more oriented to developers, to people that are working with DevOps. We are working more with open source tools, and the ACE program is more oriented to the Oracle tools. So I'm Oracle Director in the Analytic part, and you have 3 different levels: Associate, ACE, and ACE Director. And if you want to do exactly the same that I'm doing right now, presenting in conference, having a blog post, answering questions in forums, collaborate with the community, be part of the Oracle user group or something like that, just nominate yourself or someone that you know that if you want to go through this path. Okay, so let's start talking about Oracle Analytics. So before start talking about Oracle Analytics Server, let's talk about Oracle Analytics Cloud. Oracle Analytics Cloud is a unified analytic platform that offers different things. Not only the pixel perfect reporting as BA publisher or the business model layer with OBIEE, but also the self-service analytic part. It has also the possibility to create machine learning models in a very intuitive way without having to enter any line of code. So this analytic platform is a complete platform. So you can develop everything here. You can prepare the data here. You can merge data that comes from different sources without the necessity of enter lines of code or try to figure it out how you can merge a Hive table, for example, with an Excel file or something like this. It's everything includes in the way that OIC works. So we have Oracle Analytics Server. Oracle Analytics Server is like OIC, but on-premise. So we call it like the evolution of Oracle BI. So Oracle BI, you can have analysis, dashboard, BA publisher reports. With OES, you have all of that, plus the self-service analytic tools, the data visualization, and everything that we're going to see in this presentation. Okay. We have 2 different type of versions. We have Linux version, or we have recently have the Windows version. So you can install it on Linux or in Windows. And OBIEE can be upgraded to Oracle Analytics Server. This is basically the topic of this session. And you can do it out of place from 11.119, okay, or in place from 12.2.140. So what is OES and what are the features that it has? So as I imagine that you are familiar with Oracle BI Enterprise Edition. So, and you are listen to this session because you want to know how you can move to OES. So you're familiar with OBIEE. You are going to still have Oracle BI in the same way that you have it right now. Okay, one single version of the truth requires a model star schema format, the RPD file. But now with OES, you have more things. I will pass these slides very quickly because I want to show you the tool in a live demo, which is, I think it's more interesting than just listen to me talking and see some slides. So the data visualization is self-service analytic tool. This is very, very intuitive and is oriented to business users. The idea is that they can drag and drop columns in the same way that you can do it in Oracle BI, but this is happening in a blank canvas. So you can see, you are going to see an example. You're going to see that you drop some columns and immediately you have the data visualization, and you can, and in fact, OES choose the best visualization depending on the data that you are selected. Can connect to a variety of data sources, and the idea is that you don't have to enter any line of code. Okay? About all the connections and data set that you can have more than 40 different type of connections of different data sources. So for example, obviously you will have all the Oracle stack, like Oracle database, cloud, Oracle database on-prem, Oracle Autonomous Data Warehouse, you can have Oracle Space, but you can also have AWS Redshift, for example, Amazon Redshift, you can have Amazon AMR, you can have Google Analytics, you can have Apache Hive, So you can have Snowflake, for example. So there is a lot of type of connections, not only from Oracle, and this is very, very, very nice. You also have a data flow, which is the possibility to create new data sets using different data sources. And this is a totally graphic tool. Okay, so you are not entering any line of code. You're not programming in PL SQL, for example, to try to create, an ETL or a ELT shop. Okay. You have the BA ask, which is a creation of content based on text interactions. So you can see, I want to see the revenue by year, and you will have some visualizations. One very nice thing that this tool has is the predictive analytics and machine learning features. So we're going to see that we have something that is called advanced analytics, that you can just drag, for example, the trend line, and you have the trend line or the forecasting in a graphic that you have created. Without having to develop this function. You can also have something else that I want to show you, the explain option, that it helps you in analyze the data in order to avoid starting with a blank canvas. We are going to see that. And we can create machine learning models. Okay, this is very nice. And this is also oriented for people that doesn't have experience in machine learning. So you have the possibility to create and build and train machine learning models without having much knowledge and play with it, basically. And then you can apply it to different data sets in the same Oracle Analytics Cloud, Oracle Analytics Server. Okay? This is the administration console. This is the way that you can configure system settings. You can also manage snapshots. We're going to see what it is. So let me show you the tool. Okay, can you see the browser with the Analytics Server? Hope you can. I imagine you can. Okay, great. Well, this is OES. So for example, let me move the zoom to the zoom toolbar to other place so I can. Oh, okay, that's perfect. Okay, then. So this is the OES. This is the home page. Okay. So if I go to, for example, something that is called Open Classic Home, you're going to see the classic OBIEE 12c look and feel. Okay. So you have, in this case, basically Oracle BI 12, where you have the dashboards. Okay. You can create the same offsets, the analytics, okay, dashboard, reports, the same thing, right? The difference between OBIEE and OES is the data visualization part. Okay, so we're going to talk about it. So in the data visualization, this is the home that you're going to see. We are going to create connections to data sources. And as I told you before, you can create connections to more than 40 different types of data sources. But imagine that you have a data source that is not listed here. You can connect it through JDBC or ODBC. So basically, you can connect to everything. Okay. Perfect. Once you have a connection, the second step is to create a data set. A data set is a tabular format of data. Okay. And you can create using, for example, an Excel file. I can drag and drop here an Excel, for example, an Excel file. I can create something that is a local subject area. I don't think I will have time to explain it, but using subject areas from OBIEE or some of the connections that you already have. If I need to create a connection, I just click here. Okay. I will use some visualizations that I already have in order to gain some time. So let me go and create some project. Let me go here. If I want to create some project, the first thing that I need to do is see, I can select a data set or I can select subject areas from Oracle BI. Okay, so I will create some data sets here. I'm going to use, some data sets. Let me use, for example, sample of the lines. Okay. And once you have a data set here, you can go to the preparation tab. And in the preparation tab, you're going to see all the columns of this data set and also some recommendations. This is something that internal machine learning features that the tool has. Some recommendations about different columns. And for example, in this case, they are not very interesting recommendations, like extract a part of the day, for example, of the week from the ship dates, things like that. But I can, for example, imagine that you have a credit card column. He will realize that it's a credit card column. And he said, you know what, do you want to encrypt this? And just select. It will appear here and you apply the script. And then that's it. You will have an encrypted column without having to do it, to develop it. Okay. So let's come back to visualize to create some visualization. And it's pretty simple. And you are going to see the difference between this and create an analysis in Oracle BI. I just double click or drag a column and that's it. It's a tile visualization, data visualization of this value. And I can start adding more columns, right? So you can select many columns and just drag it, but I like to do it one by one so you can see the change in the type of visualization. I think that is more interesting. So for example, I can go and select the quarter of the year, and I want to see also the sales not only by quarter but also for product category. Okay, that's it. And I can go to the analytic function and say, you know what is the trend for this? And that's it. So it was like what, less than 1 minute, I have a graph with a trend line and very interesting visualization. And I can create a lot of more. And one of the difference between analysis is that I don't have to create first the columns that I want and then see the results. Here I can create a complete different query, okay, complete different visualization based on, for example, another column like profit and select ship mode. That's it, okay? And I can sort high to low. If I don't like this visualization, I can choose for all these visualizations that appear here. Let me put this one. Very simple, right? Okay, this is the way that you can create some visualizations in OES using the data visualization part. So move on. You can create also something that is called data flow. So let me come back to home. Okay. And I can create a new data flow. And the first thing that it will ask me, okay, what is the data set that you want to use? So let's use the same thing that I use it here. Sample order lines. Okay. Perfect. And then you will see all the steps that I can apply. I can add more data. I can add, for example, another. And one important thing is once you have the data set, it doesn't matter from which source it comes, So it's for OES or OEC, it's just one data set. So you can merge different type of data sets, like a Hive table with an XML file or with a Oracle database table. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, let me order sample states here. I will select it. And because these two, obviously it creates a join, and because these two have one column that has the same name, the same data type, he creates automatically the join. And that's it. I can, do an aggregation, create a filter. Okay, I can create a filter, for example, and say, okay, filter. Okay, like, for example, product category. And I will select just for office supplies. Okay, and then I can save the data, and that will create a new data set. This data set can be, go here. This data set can storage in the data set storage, so in OES, or I can create, can select a database connection. Okay, so let me put it one name. Sample office. Whoa. Supplies. And I will save the data flow too. Okay. And I just run the data flow, and I create a new data set in OES. Okay, it's just very simple, very simple, very easy to use with, again, no line, any line, without having to enter any line of code. Okay. Even when I have to create data flows, I can create some machine learning models too. I don't think I will have time to show you that. The only thing that I will show you is that if you go to data, okay, you will see all the data sets. And now you will see the new data set that I just created, as well as the data flow just now that I just created. Okay. One thing that it has in common with the people that, for the people that already work in Oracle BI, we have the catalog here. And the catalog have the shared folders, when we have all the information of the shared folders in my folder. This catalog is the same catalog that you will see in Oracle BI. Good. Okay, let's move on, because I have more things to show you, and about how you can migrate to OES. So let me move again. Okay. And that's it. Perfect. Okay, I hope that you can see my screen again.
Yes, we can see your screen. Yep.
Perfect. So in addition to these new features, why you should move to OES? And this is quite important, because if you already have Oracle BI licenses and you are on Oracle support, then OES is for free. So you don't have to pay any extra license. It's just a simple upgrade. It's like upgrade to, if you are in 12.214, it's to upgrade to 12.215, something like that. So it's completely free. You don't have to pay extra license for this. This is the reason number one to move it, because you're going to have, in addition to all the things that you already have right now with Oracle BI, you have all the data visualization, machine learning, data flow features that are so cool. Okay, so how we can do this migration? What are the starting points to do this migration? So if you are in 11.1, you need to be in 11.119 to do this upgrade. Okay, so you're going to use the BI migration tool and BI migration script to do it. And if you are in 12.214, you can do an in-place upgrade, not a migration, but in-place upgrade, okay, using the upgrade assistant. If you are in Oracle BI 12.1, something but a previous version than 4.0, you can generate a file, or you can upgrade to 12.214 and then apply the in-place upgrade. So what happened if you have a different version of Oracle BI? So this is a graph that I think is quite useful for you. So if you are in anything in OBIEE 11G before 11.119, you need to upgrade to 11.119 and then do a migration to OES, generating what is called a bundle file. Okay. If you're in 12.214, you can upgrade to 12.214 and then upgrade to OES, to upgrade process, or you can do a migration and generate a file. So when you are doing, because right now in this option you have, in fact, you have two options, right? If you're in OBIEE 12. So in this case, it will depend on what you want. The migration path, you are doing a migration. What does it mean? You have OBIEE 12, for example, 12.212, for example. Okay, so you have this version, you are not touching this version at all, you are not modifying this version, and you are installing a fresh installation of OES, and you are moving your data from OBIEE 12 to OES. Okay, so in that case, you'll continue having your environment, your previous environment, without any modification. Okay, so for example, one thing that you can do if you want to have a new server for OES, and or imagine that you want to have a different operating system version, then it's better for you to do a migration instead to doing an upgrade, because you need to change it, to change the server or to change the operating system. If you want to do some of that, the migration will be the best path. Otherwise, the best option is to upgrade. If you're going to have this in the same server, just upgrade it, it will be better. Okay. So what are the steps to do the upgrade? When you upgrade, you need to do pre-upgrade steps, the process of the upgrade, and then a post steps. Obviously, backup your OBIEE environment. This is the first thing, including obviously the RCU schemas. Also, verify certification system request. This is something that is you have to do it for every single upgrade or patch that you have to apply, right? This is very important, and sometimes we are not doing it correctly. Is clean the OBIEE environment. Sometimes we develop things in OBIEE and people are not using anymore or whatever, and we are keeping this RPD with all these obsolete objects. Try to clean the RPD and click the catalog, before doing this upgrade. Okay. The other thing that you have to do is to disable SSL. Just running this command, and that's it. Before running the command, you need to stop the service, by the way. Okay. So to upgrade to OES, the first step obviously is unload and install JDK, Fusion Middleware Infrastructure, and OES. And if you're using Linux version, you need to also download a WebLogic patch. Okay. If you're going to use Windows, that patch is already included in the Windows version, so you don't have to. But if you're using Linux, you need also to download and you will see here in the screen, right, in the screenshot. You need also to download the WebLogic patch. Okay. When you have downloaded and installed JDK, the Fusion Middleware Infrastructure, the WebLogic, and OES in a new Oracle home, you stop the services, you upgrade the RCU schemas using the upgrade assistance, reconfigure the Oracle BI domain using the reconfiguration wizard, and upgrade this domain. Okay, then start the services, and you need to do some post steps. First, enable SSL, which is the same command like this, but true. Migrating catalog groups if you have it, and allowing contain HTML markup option. And this is something that you're going to do with the configuration. with the console, sorry. So let me show you. Here, you can see my browser, right? Yes, I mentioned it. So you have the console here, okay? And in the console is the administration part of the OES, okay? So there are, because it's OES, you have the possibility to modify configuration files because it's installed in one server. This is a big difference between OES and OEC, because in Oracle in this cloud is managed by Oracle. You cannot modify configuration files. You don't have SSH access to any server, but this is it's an on-prem thing. So it's in your server, you can do whatever you want. In system settings, you're going to see some of the settings that you usually see in the instance config, but you have it here. The way to enable the HTML markup option. So if you have, in Oracle BI, you can have the options to the possibility to have HTML content, right? By default, this is disabled. So you need to come back here and enable, otherwise it's not going to work any content that you create with HTML, okay? That is. Okay, so let's come back to the slides. We have 15 minutes more. So this is the thing that you have to do. So if you see, it's quite straightforward, right? So you need obviously to do some steps, but it's quite straightforward, right? And the post steps are just a few, basically. Basically enable a cell and allow content markup option. If I want to do the migration from OBIEE 11.9, for example, or from, it's different from 12, but imagine that you want to do it from OBIEE 11.119, you need to create an export bundle using the BI migration tool. This is an example of the command that you have to run. This is going to generate a share file. This share file, once you have it, you need to import it into the OES environment that you already have installed. Okay? One important thing is what you're going to migrate with this and which you're not going to migrate. And this is something that is explicitly in the post-migration steps. So what you're doing this migration, what you migrate is the content. So basically what you migrate is all the BI catalog, all the RPD, the BI server with the instance config file, also the presentation service with the instance config file. The problem is there are some things that are not migrated. First of all, security. Okay, so you have the just end file, or remove it when you do the migration, but imagine that you have an LDAP integration on your Oracle BI environment. Okay, that is not going to be migrated. Okay, so you need to do it again as a post-migration step into OES. Okay, Web Logic security, Enterprise Manager security, BI presentation server configuration, and customizations. For example, if you have some specific modify the look and feel, the logo, custom script that you have, write back templates, all of that, you need to do it again in OES, okay? For BI Publisher, for example, and another thing, for example, is the agents. The agents are disabled after they are migrated. So if you have, for example, many agents already set in your Oracle BI environment, you have to enable after you do the migration. And in addition to that, you don't have the history of the run of these agents. Obviously, it's enabled. They are enabled. They're going to run in the schedule that is already set, but it's not going to. You're not going to see the content, the history of this agent execution, for last month, for example. Okay, for BI Publisher, you also need to migrate the scheduler shove, and obviously removing the BI system user is not longer used in OES, so you need to remove it when you do the security configuration. So again, I want to put this slide again. So these are the path in order to do it. And if you see the way to do the migration, you have to do a lot of more steps, and you have to do a lot of more work if you're not doing the upgrade and doing the migration process. Okay, because all of that, it took time, right? Migrate the web logic security, enterprise manager security. So all of that, it's going to take some time, and you have to do a lot of work. But if, for example, you have the, if you're in 12, for example, and you don't want to do the upgrade because you want to have your current environment available until the very last second, you cannot have a Windows to just do this upgrade in place, then this is the way to do it, you know, with the migration. Otherwise, the upgrade, it's a better path. It's a recommended path, in fact. Okay, there are some features. This is kind of that it's important for you to know. There are some features that are deprecated. There are some features that are completely desupported. These features that are desupported, that's it. Now they are no longer to use it. One of them is the scorecard and strategy management. Is desupported, it's no longer available. So if you're already using scorecards in Oracle BI, which is in fact, it's a separate license in OBIEE, that's it. You're not going to use it anymore. But there are some features that the people that we used to work with Oracle BI use it a lot, which is act as a feature. Okay, the act as feature. Now they try to log in as if we were something else. Now this is good to test some errors that some users can have in Oracle BI without asking the password, obviously. And this is deprecated, but you can enable it. Okay, so the idea of deprecated is deprecated. They are not deprecated means that Oracle is not going to improve anything of this feature, and it's possible that in future versions they're going to just remove it. Okay, but if you want to enable, this is the link from Oracle support to do this enablement. Let me show you this. Let me move this to other place so I can. Oh, okay. Okay. I think I have it here. Okay. So this is the document in Oracle support. Okay, so there are some features that you can enable in OES. You have to modify, in this case, incubation properties. If the file doesn't exist, you have to create it, and you can enter this line and stop and start the service. Okay, so basically restart the service. Good. Another thing that will be interesting for you probably is another document that has the difference between Oracle Analytics Server with Oracle Analytics Cloud and Oracle Analytics Server with Oracle BI. So for example, if you want to see the comparison between 12.214 with OES, okay, you will have here, well, the same thing that I mentioned to you, that scorecard and strategy management are supported. Okay. And which is the difference between the system configuration. So you still using this instance config XML, for example, but there are some properties that are available on the system setting page that I already showed you. Okay. You will see some of this information here, the security, blah, blah, blah. Okay, might be supported. Okay, deprecated and disabled by default, might be supported in a future release, but you can enable and use it right now. Okay, my last slide is about the useful links. Okay, so these are links that you can check it. Obviously, it's the download link, Analytics Server documentation, and the Analytics Server documentation. Let me show you this. Okay, you can go to the books. Obviously, you can see some tutorials, and you have the path for upgrade from Oracle Business Intelligence, migrate from Oracle Business Intelligence. Upgrade is remember, upgrade is upgrade in place. Migrate is moving, having the current environment without touching it, you know, and you do a fresh installation and just move the content from one environment to the other. Okay. From 11G is the only way to do it. From 12, it depends what you want to do. Okay. If you want to do it in a different server, or if you want to do it in place. If you want to keep the same server, the best option is upgrade until 12.214 and then upgrade to OES. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, this is a technical difference between OBIEE, OEC, and OES. I already showed you that. And that's it. We will have 4 minutes to any question that you have.
Hey, thanks.
So
And if anyone has any questions, please post. And we are right on time, Edel.
Yes, I rehearsed to do it in 45. Usually I'm not that, you know, I'm not that precise with the time. I have to admit that I do
really nice,
rehearse.
informative, right? Nice and very informative session. Thank you for that. And I have not seen any questions so far. We'll wait for a few more seconds and then we will wind up the session. And thank you all for joining this session. And please join for other sessions as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day.